on top of that, like Nyx, the entire point of it is to set up aggressive ganks. Hitlord is like, he draws away from that concept where you want to go for the high grounds and then just immediately back out or hold high ground. And so you had like 2 heroes that did one thing, 2 heroes that went in a completely different direction.
Well, there you go. We talked about the possible adjustment and VGJ Thunder having the first pick the last time and passing on the Death Prophet. They're not going to let it pass by again.
Yeah, I just think it's much more important. It lets them play faster, and it also denies that speed from InFamous.
Another hero that has struggled recently in pro games, but something that Yang is very comfortable with. The Omni Knight is still on the table for VGJ Thunder.
This is the true test, right? This game.
They're going to take it away as InFamous.
That's the Stinger Omni Knight, guys. Never underestimate that guy.
Well, the question is, can InFamous keep the pace up, even without maybe Night Stalker, without Death Prophet at least?
Well, hang on, you think that Omni Knight's a good hero for Stinger?
Yeah, I think Stinger.
10 seconds remaining.
Stinger's an interesting guy. Like his Brewmaster, not really his forte, because that hero needs to like move around and be very proactive. Stinger, I think, is a very reactive player, in the sense that like I don't think he plays those like those heroes where your role in the game isn't so like clear. Like Brewmaster or Tidehunter, it's a little bit confusing to do. Whereas like Night Stalker and Omni Knight is like super straightforward. As Omni, you just sit with a TP and you sit behind a core and you make sure Kotaro Hoyama doesn't go over aggressive, and then you're fine. Everything's chill.
I just think he's better on these like bully heroes. These heroes that you can be a frontliner, play in the enemy's face, not have to worry about it. Like if you look at the common denominator, the one traditional teamfight initiator that he is very good on is the Tide. And that's got the definite bully aspect. You look at the Night Stalker, really play forward, pick off the enemies, and Omni Knight's a hero that if you build it right, you can play like that.
Yeah, he had a pretty bad Tide yesterday. I'll say that.
Oh yeah, that was one bad game.
I kind of like Blitz's point. I feel like, I mean, this sounds like rude or something, but I feel like his strength is not decision making. So you should play a hero that like follows decisions of teammates rather than making the big decisions. So I think I like Omni Knight also.
It's his hero. Everyone, I've casted a lot of SA games. Like that's how I know. Pepito, Razor, Viper, or DP, and Stinger's gonna play Omni Knight or Night Stalker, and it's just play within your wheelhouse. And I like that they're not trying to over adjust or play like something they're not, because we discussed that option. Like, do you just copy Team Like Maybe? No. Do your thing. Do what you're comfortable with,
Focus
and
on
it'll be
yourself.
okay. Exactly.
On the other hand, VGJ are actually adjusting, and it's funny because this is what happened also in their series against Fnatic. They lost that first game. They were doing something sort of unusual, different, and then they adjusted and did something much more standard in one game 2 and 3. So it looks like that's maybe ROTK just in his drafting needs to warm up a bit at the start of a series.
Somebody pointed out to me yesterday, one of the pros, he said, playing against VGJ Thunder is always interesting because he felt like they were the team that was best at adjusting mid-series. Like they understood what to do a little bit differently than a lot of other teams, because a lot of other teams will just say like, this is what got us here, we're just going to keep running it. But VGJ Thunder oftentimes make those adjustments, and they'll just have a completely different draft.
I think that has a lot to do with the fact that their coach is the one drafting, right? Because if you're playing inside the game, it's harder to evaluate the draft while you're playing, I think. Whereas you're watching, get that entire perspective, and then you go into the next one knowing exactly what you want to change.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The helicopter view proving to give a little bit of an advantage there. You don't get stuck up on what lost you the previous game. During the game, you're already looking forward to what you can change there. Even if things go right, a coach will look at what went wrong and still tweak if it went right, and tweak it for the better. But generally for the better, that's what you hope for anyway. In this case, same story for VGJ. We have some bans, second phase coming. The opening, I guess, not too surprising. We got a Brew and a Luna ban on the side of InFamous, and the Disruptor ban by VGJ themselves. So we're going to see DDC on something else, assuming that we're going to have Fade on that Tusk.
Oh yeah, and I think that's kind of that's the biggest adjustment that I wanted to see in this draft. I know you guys talked about the first pick DP, but I just wanted to see Fade on a hero that, with a much higher skill cap, that he could actually do something more meaningful in the game with, and the Tusk fits that bill, as we've seen throughout the tournament, with DJ in particular yesterday. The other thing that I'll flag for InFamous is that they run the gyrocopter almost exclusively in the mid position. That Gyro is not really a Kotaro here, although we have seen a few games in the past. But last 6 games, it's been Pepito on the Gyro, and they're 2 and 4.
Yeah, unless Kotaro gets a mid hero like last game, then they can kind of switch it around.
Yep. I kind of want to see one of the 2 Earths on the side of InFamous, either Earth Spirit or Earth Shaker. I'm okay with either one of those.
Yeah, because the offlane's Omni Knight, so they need to have like a 4 position to kind of...
Yeah, you need somebody that creates plays for you on the map, like something that plays very fast. And the other hero would have been like Sand King, but Sand King's banned.
Do they run those heroes a lot? Do you know?
Yeah, Schofield is a bigger Spirit player. It's one of his most picked.
Earthshaker, not as much though, right?
Earthshaker, I think they picked like once or twice. Also
Radiant
Schofield.
team pick.
They take out Papyrus Viper. That's interesting because we were saying that he's likely to be the Gyro player anyway.
Never, no, don't let Pepito play Viper. No. If he's about to eliminate you,
Yeah,
It's scary, right?
I can support that. Yeah.
The reason they didn't ban it last time is because they were assuming he was going to play Death Prophet. They were right.
Okay.
But the Viper is a scary one. Bane pick up some extra control there.
That is along with the Schofield Sand King. That's their most picked hero.
There's
Last
a lot
couple
of great
patches.
things to steal, aren't there? But I guess Fade is
Oh, you
would
like
be
it
the
there.
Rubik player, so
Yeah.
DDC Rubik
10
not
seconds
as
remaining.
common.
yeah, it's an excellent Rubik game though.
Yeah.
He's one of the
5
best counters to
seconds
Omni
remaining.
Knight.
Yeah, and I think they are 5-0 on the DDC
converts.
Rubik. They do run it, and I think it's
Yeah.
you have to be a really good spells on the other side to steal to justify the 5 Rubik. But I think this fits the bill for sure.
I remember I think a couple of years ago I wrote an article about this, how historically Chinese support players share pretty much all their heroes. You don't get Chinese support players who specialize in like...
The FY Rubik will like to prove you wrong. Also, we got more.
That's just because of how good it was. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
like especially like when DD and DDC were playing in LGD, they would switch around all the time. It just depends on the game. So I think you can.
This was their core combo yesterday. Gyro Morph against Final
10
Trapping Game 1.
seconds remaining.
And it worked out great.
I like Witch Doctor and Bane though.
5
Like both those
seconds
5
remaining.
position supports. Nowadays, because you often go for like 2-on-2 lane setups, you need a 5 position that can almost always just like win by himself. And Witch Doctor, like the reason why the hero's so popular is because he can almost always solo zone. Like good attack animation, Cascade Maledict is almost always a kill combo. Same with Bane, right? Bane's very tanky. Brain Sap allows him to trade with pretty much anybody.
10 seconds.
Witch Doctor's a very good hero for DDC, I feel, because it's, you know, you can't, if you position well on that hero, you are going to have a very big impact without dying. The Bat Rider's a good Yang hero. I think did he also, just looking, yeah, he played that hero against Fnatic as well. That other game when they first picked DP, and he did extremely well in that game.
Feel like they can they play faster than previous game on the side of VGJ?
Oh, much faster.
Yeah.
I think the Bat Rider alone,
Dire team
right?
back.
You get a good blink on that hero, and it's go time. You can create space in a number of ways. Where the Underlord's much more slow, steady, defensive type build up.
So they plugged the holes from game 1?
Yeah, or in terms of the playstyle at least. But I keep asking people on the panel, and I don't know, I want to know what you think. But it's like, what do you think are the better cores to pick against Morphling?
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
DP's really nice because of silence. I think PL's okay.
Doesn't really have like any actual, what I'd call a counter though, right?
Yeah, because like a lot of the common ones, like Jug for example, is just nice to play against. Well, I like their new morph more than anything. Like the ult ability, the ability to like switch in and out.
Morphling has a, we were saying before, Morphling has like a ridiculous
OD, it's really cool too.
Ooh, it's
TV.
early.
Okay, that's to me is not one of the ones I would have chosen. It feels like risky. It feels if Morph gets that shotgun up early, TB can be very vulnerable.
We were saying since 7.07, Morphling has a 66% win rate in Pro Dota 2, which is a really, really high win rate.
Yes, very much so. And that's also true on an ELO adjusted basis.
5 seconds
I'm down with
remaining.
Spirit or Shaker.
Yeah.
Still.
I agree.
Yeah, looking for that Schofield tempo maker.
Yeah. Otherwise, like you play really fast and you pick like is Bounty banned?
Bounty is not banned.
Yeah. I'm okay with either of those 3, but I think that you need more stuns.
I like-
Stuns win Dota.
I like the Shaker the most. It just has more stance than the Earth Spirit. It's got more team fights, and they kind of needed to do that.
I'm going to lean toward the Earth Spirit just because it feels really good to have the long range initiation without counting on a Blink Dagger. Okay,
And
the Shaker.
Well
Give it
done,
to
guys.
Sting. Yep.
One of the 2 Earths.
Yeah, I mean the Fissure does also have that long range even before you blink. So.
I thought they would third pick that, if you recall.
Yeah.
That was a kind of odd draft order, but I'm okay with it.
So the question is, will we have a game 3? Because InFamous, they looked very good in that first game. VGJ maybe thrown a little bit off guard, and it was a tough loss as well after being, coming back for as long as they did. So maybe mentally a tough loss, but are they gonna have another chance after this?
I think so. I like both drafts, but I feel like VGJ had to really draft themselves into a corner in game one, and even so, they found a way to prolong the game. So I like their chances to come back in this series.
Yeah,
Will, final words? Oh, sorry, Scant, go ahead.
Well, I think that VGJ have a little bit better control for the Morphling than what InFamous have for the Terrorblade. So I think I'll go VGJ. I think Terrorblade's going to have a good game.
Final words?
Let's go. Viva South America.
Viva
Vamos.
South America. Let's see if they can make a clean 2-0 sweep to the grand finals. It is over to ODPixel and Fogged.
Thank you very much, Shiva. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready here in Indonesia for an exciting Game 2, I'd hope, between these two sides, especially if Game 1 was anything to go by. I'm ODPixel, I'm here with Fogged. We've just seen the two lineups. I'm loving sort of the fifth picks from both sides. Sylar, he's got his Terrorblade, but on the side of InFamous, this fifth pick Shaker, not a lot of teams that would do that.
No, this whenever I see this Shaker and Gyrocopter, it just reminds me of VP. We saw them run this at Katowice versus the Death Prophet as well, so we're probably going to be seeing Schofield play mostly around that mid lane, just try to punish the Death Prophet and give Pepito a very good start.
VGJ looking for the early aggression. Five-man smoke to invade the half of the map of InFamous. Will they quite catch anyone else? Anyone out there? Stinger's on the high ground. He is going to see them coming through. Then he went to react to it. He's surrounded by 5. They'll look for the body blocks, the napalm building up. I think Stinger, he's going to have to just realize that he's got to accept his fate here. Not even skilling a point. Knows that there's no skill in the world that will save him. As VGJ Thunder find first blood for Freeze.
Power of level 1 smoke.
Schofield. Let's get caught out by one napalm. They do try for the sharp block, but Schofield will be able to keep his
The
distance.
battle begins.
So talking about the lanes, any lane matchup that we're going to see sort of catch people off guard? Are we going to see just dual lanes once again from InFamous?
I think more than likely. I think Schofield wants to block the top lane for the Omni Knight at the start so they can get a very good just start to the game, and then he'll probably head toward that mid lane. The thing that I saw Roger do, which was actually my favorite on the Earthshaker, was just gank that mid lane, go back, stack the hard camp. Gank, stack, over and over again. A lot of kill threshold when you have level 3 on the Gyrocopter to go for those plays on the Death Prophet.
Absolutely. We're seeing this hero, say, time and time again, being picked up against the DP. Because of that, just proactiveness of the hero very early on. Fantastic killing potential. Top lane, we'll see how well Stinger can sort of keep tabs on the farmer side. Bottom lane, Miku. He's got a lot of stacks on him here, 5 stacks, but so just the level 1 Yang, not really able to chase down. Keeping those stacks really racked up though on the Bane. So Miku, 7 stacks. He's halfway through the level 1, so still a few creeps until the level 2 will be there. So Miku knows he can play aggressive top lane.
Okay, so Schofield's actually prioritizing top for now, just at least during the first Metamorphosis usage. And he's actually going to walk and look like he's trying to drag the creep wave for his Omni Knight as well.
Want to make fade. Yang. Just playing very aggressive down here. They're dreaming of the point where they'll have those level 2s, as that is going to be the point where there's definitely kill potential for VGJ Thunder.
Yeah, I think always being able to run an aggressive lane like this with Batrider, it's very threatening towards supports. Either like the Sand King or the Tusk, always very, very useful to get those sticky stacks and go for those dive plays. And contesting a Morpling's farm is always great.
And so far so good, they are keeping Minos down, a few CS as it stands. Certainly feeling the pressure from these two, this Bat Tusk off lane from VGJ Thunder. Yang and Fade, look for the lead in. Level 2's now there on Mort lane. The wrap around Schofield. What's he got? Just level 1, so he can get the Fissure if he wants to, but just realize with the Siphon healing freeze back up, it isn't quite that easy of a kill quite yet to go for. They need a few more levels on the two of them before they can try for it. Bottom lane, the Nightmare set up, getting a few punches through as well. Onto Yang, I'll put the Firefly stick charges as well. Snowball comes out to buy him some time. Minos focusing the bat, zips forward with the waveform, and will claim the pickup. VGJ starting to play around trying to look for a kill, but it ends up turning on towards themselves. At the same time, mid, Freeze will be forced back towards his tower. Fissure and Rocket Barrage not quite enough to finish him. But InFamous Starting to see signs of that aggression that we saw held them out so much in the early game of Game 1.
Yeah, they are still definitely slowing down the farm of the Morphling. Sure, they give up a kill, but his last hits are being affected by this Batrider and this Tusk. And mid, Schofield, the Fissure does block. It doesn't stun though, and oh, it actually doesn't block. It looked like it did the way that Freeze walked too.
Tiny little gap that Freeze was able to get through.
It looks like he could actually fit through there.
And he's been on a diet. 3 minutes to the moment, 1 for 1. You say the biggest issue for InFamous being the fact that Minos is getting pressured. Are we going to see, like, if you're the Shaker, does Schofield look to try and come down here, or are you just much better to continuously just look for the kill opportunity on Freeze?
I think he has to help the Gyrocopter.
One lane, another attempt onto Yang. Yang getting low. Snowball will come out. We'll pick Yang up in time, but Minos will continue with the right clicks waveform forward. And that's the second time that they've been able to do that and bring down the bat. This time, Bane will be in trouble as the TP rotation comes through from DDC. As him and Fade will get a train return, but Schofield's there. Came in to back up. The burst not quite enough. Stick charge will be there.
Nice
keep
TP.
Fade alive.
Nice TP rotation by both DDC and Schofield.
Do need to keep doing this down bottom, alleviate that pressure that's on Minos. InFamous want to get this more to that point of power where he can get this early burst online.
Sylar being the big winner so far in this full free farm up top, unable to contest him at all on the side of InFamous.
Yeah, Stinger getting a little bit from that top lane, but as you say, Sylar with quite the advantage. Mid lane. TPs to come through. We are going to see Fade come across, ready to back up Freeze. Gets gone upon. Bottom lane, Miku looking for the wraparound. Does get the lane ward down as well, so they can see if there's more opportunities to go in and open up onto the Yang Batrider. They'll look for the block. Yang pops the Firefly, gets himself across the ravine and will be safe.
They're understanding the importance of making sure that the Morphling can get all that farm. They put a defensive ward bottom to be able to watch the rotations.
Dire's structures are
And he's starting to catch back up in last hits with 2 kills on top. Mid lane, Papita getting pressured heavily.
And the dive of this tower, their Fade gets the lead in, sets up for a kill for Freeze. As soon as Schofield leaves that middle lane, VGJ Thunder finding opportunities to play aggressive onto the Gyro. Top lane Stinger really being punished here each and every time the Metamorphosis is up.
DDC getting body blocked, Schofield.
Wise time for the TP to come in from Papita and DDC. I don't think he's getting out of this one. He'll try his best for the cast, but Schofield and Papita split up so it doesn't catch him. They'll get the Fissure down. They'll look towards Freeze as well. Freeze keeping himself alive with the Siphon. Homing Missile will connect. Papita manning up with the right clicks. Miku's going to be in there as well, so Freeze will not be able to keep himself alive despite the Fairy Fire play. InFamous get the double kill in the mid lane for their Gyro. Same time up top, VGJ Thunder were able to finish off Stinger as Fade came in and had just a little bit of an extra punch with the Tusk control from the Snowball, enough to ensure that Sylar can get Stinger out of the off lane.
Very costly mistake though by Freeze, trying to help out DDC, getting punished for it.
Miku, he's got the Nightmare. They're going to be able to get in range. They do have the Fissure, and with the Brain Sap they've got it.
InFamous.
Schofield Shaker, proving to be in the right place at the right time. Being able to set up for 3 of these assists, so 3 of these kills so far. Schofield is going to be hunted upon. The bounces will be there from the cast. They do manage to split to stop it from continuing anymore. But Miku will be left behind here for sure. He's surrounded as Freeze comes across from the mid lane, takes a short wander over to get himself involved in another kill for the lineup of VGJ.
Lots of rotations coming out from both sides.
Sylar still leading the CS.
Yeah.
But the recovery is beginning to be there from Minos. He's second highest. He's almost on par with the net worth of Sylar thanks to the 2 kills that he has got down bottom.
And he's consistently been stacking his own hard camp on the side there as well as the Bane. Has to be careful though, because Yang can easily go down and steal that as the Batrider. Schofield.
Looking towards him. DDC leading with the cast. They've got the Maledict upon him. Miku's going to be there. Freeze moving across, trying to make sure that they can finish off this Shaker. Schofield turns. Nightmare into the Fissure, homing Missile as well. And here's the rotation from Papita. They'll pop the cooldown down, but with the Earthshaker gone, he's careful about how he commits for more. InFamous realize this is an engagement they can't take. They'll back away. Thunder getting away with the Schofield pick.
Yeah, the threat of Exorcism being there. If Papita actually does go onto low ground there, if he gets shard trapped, he's easily brought down by Exorcism.
Oh, and look at this. Down bottom,
He is going
Minos
to get the steal.
No?
Nope.
You got your bait there, Bob.
Got your
That's a morphling. Look at him go. Fire coming out of his backside.
That looks so awesome.
I mean, I don't think water works that way. But Minos turns out he's the flammable type of liquid. Burns through the stack. Look at this smoke from InFamous. Schofield and Miku looking to make the move down bottom. They've got the invis as well on the Shaker, so Schofield can be sure to get close and personal to start layering up the chain stun. Bottom lane, Yang.
It's got a lot of stacks, but
Yes.
it's a bit of a bait as well.
It certainly is. The wraparound's coming through. Yang very deep. He's trying for this. There's the waveform forward with the Fisher. InFamous will claim the back. 8 stacks on this Morphling, and Minos, he does not care. The backup's there from his supports. They punish Yang. Same time up top. The movement's been made. Freeze is headed up to back up Sylar as VGJ Thunder want to finish off this tier 1 tower. InFamous are coming forward though. They're hunting for Schofield in the sideline, but they're very grouped up. VGJ Thunder. Pepita is here. Freeze will pop the Exorcism, looks towards Pepita. They've got the 9-round wall, but Pepita's falling low. The snowball comes through, and VGJ Thunder take the gyro out of the fight. Stinger heads forward onto Freeze, but Freeze with a quick grip swarm picks up a second in the jungle. On the tree line to the side. Double kill for this Dev Prophet, and they're not done quite yet. Another kill for Thunder. The push too strong for InFamous to hold against when the Exorcism's online. Between the DP and the Terrorblade, a lot of early game fighting and pushing potential that InFamous, as we're seeing, despite their best attempts, with the Gyrocopter, Pepita's not quite at a point where he can fight into these ultimates. This Exorcism and Metamorphosis.
Yeah, and the threat is Sunder. He did end up throwing it down there, but they can't fully commit for that Terrorblade because of it.
And Pepita's starting to fall behind because of these failed rotations. 2,500 on the gyro. The other cores in the game, as you can see up top, the 3 of them. The TV, the Morph, and the TP all sitting around that 4 to 5k mark.
They're looking to just be very aggressive with them, but they do at least have one stack to rely on for Pepita to go back on. He's going to stack another camp for himself too. Since his rotations are not working out, he does need something to make sure that he can stay in this game. While Minos bottom having an excellent game.
He's going to be on track for a good time on the Lincoln Sphere this rate. VGJ Thunder, they've been putting a lot of attention towards the mid and the top, but as we've seen down bottom, not really a lane that they've as of yet decided to sort of turn their attention towards. Only sort of the earlier support rotation. Now, we do have 3 heroes sort of hovering around there, but it's such a hard kill to get. Here we go once again.
Yep. This is a great use of this, because then he doesn't have to expend any of his actual mana. It's a really nice play. But here comes Switch Doctor, making the way down.
Here we go.
Bat versus bat.
Try it. Bat on bat action here between the 2 sides. They both want it. Minos, he should get the most of it. I think at least one of the creeps taken by Yang, but still the majority of gold going the way of Minos' Morph.
InFamous has level 6 on the Bane. They want to be able to use this Fiend's Grip and pick themselves somebody off. You can feel the difference this game, though, from especially Fade.
Yes.
He's 2-0-7 on this Tusk. Very, very active and able to be active because of the lanes that they have.
This isn't his Nyx Assassin. I think last game I don't think there was any numbers in the kills or assists at this stage for that Nyx Assassin performance.
They find
lane. They've got the grip. They're moving on to Yang, surrounding the bat. They have the control. Yang will fall. Fisher out to the side as well as the Nightmare, but Sylar and Freeze in the neighborhood. InFamous have to back up. They have to be careful. Fade and DDC will look for the catch. They'll find the trap onto Miku. And we'll be able to at least make one of the supports of InFamous punish, get paid for this trade, but still, it's their offlaner going down.
And it's a meta expended for just a support kill.
And it's the full 4-man response.
Yep.
Whereas you can see on the mid lane and top lane, InFamous continuing to get some farm out of the majority of the map in comparison to Thunder's placement.
And speaking of farm, this Earthshaker, 1,700 gold already. Schofield getting very close to an early blink to catch Thunder off guard.
Talking about catching off guard, Thunder. They're in with the smoke. Looking to find InFamous out on the map. Stinger. He's on the low ground. The smoke actually going to miss him for now. DDCs will be dispelled. They know someone's about. Stinger is going to get gone upon, but he gets the repel out in time. Will back off. Lasso's going to be there to go for the magic immunity. They drag him back. They've got the physical. They pop GA. Stinger trying to keep himself alive, but the magic damage is too much. They surround him, take down the Omni Knight. VGJ Thunder get the pick off. 11 to 8 now. 1k lead for Thunder. They themselves just starting to make many more successful movements than they were in this situation in Game 1. Already this level playing ground, it's a much better place for Thunder to be in.
Yeah, the supports are being extremely active, and Freeze, after having a pretty good mid-start, 6-1 and 2, already with the Yules finished up.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Can be very, very nice for them. Yules into silence can actually find them some pickoffs on this Morphling a lot easier than before.
I'm excited to see what Schofield can do with this, though. Link's there. Heads back to base to refuel. We'll see if they can catch Thunder off guard with this pickup.
They've got Fiend's Grip too, and they've got a smoke as well on Miku, so they could definitely look for a smoke play and try to get Sylar, but I do think they want to transition to it also into tower pushes. I think just kills right now is not what they need. They need to get more map control.
See what they can do with it. Straight up to the top lane. Sylar. Backed up at the moment just by Fade. Only the two of them up here. Fade could look for a snowball save, but it's going to be hard to do with huge amounts of numbers of InFamous coming in. Jump forward, Schofield looking for the control. Fish is going to be on the wrong side though. Sylar will be able to escape. The play not quite there from Schofield with the Blink Dagger reveal, as Sylar will be able to walk away and avoid the movement from InFamous.
Great map read coming out there by Fade. Getting that defensive ward down. It gets instantly counter ward, but the job was done protecting Sylar. But Sylar is under vision of this aggressive ward by InFamous. Want to punish, but does seem aware.
He's farming safely, keeping the illusions near the camps near the whereabouts of InFamous, and keeping his main hero far, far away. Top lane of Fade did hang around. They look for the opening upon him. He just managed to push himself over the other side of the shards, but the Fiend's going to be there to hold him down.
And VG will be able to get bottom tower too with that exorcism usage.
Sylar's farm still continuing to stay strong. His top net worth.
Very, very close though with the Morphling, which pretty much has like 800 gold till the Lincolns is done. Has that ulti orb being delivered now.
The overall difference in gold, mainly really that sort of help between the DP and the Gyro.
Yeah, and they know that Death Prophet expended Exorcism, so they're looking to punish this top tower. They've got the Blink Dagger and the Shaker 2 in the back lines. They force a Glyph. Put a ward deep behind the tower as well to see the rotations from Thunder. They're smoked up.
Can they try and do this?
The scan actually catches Vici, making that rotation.
Could look to try and prepare for this one with that information Yang. It's the Firefly. Does only have to jump to try and close the gap. They've got the cast onto Miku, dropping the Death Ward as well. Looking to burst down through this Bane. They'll look for the heal from the Omni Knight. Is it enough to save Miku? Goes for the Nightmare. The roll 4 comes through. They'll find one. But in return, InFamous moving forward. Minos, he gets the trade kill, turns himself into the DP, tries to keep himself alive with the Siphon, but it will not work. The damage output from VGJ too high. With Sylar having the Metamorphosis, they get the vision. They've got the Yules to cancel the TP as VGJ Thunder shut down InFamous' tier 2 tower attempt. Despite not having the exorcism, the control was just there in whole, and the play from Minos, as cute as it was, trying to keep himself alive and turn the tides with the Siphon just wasn't enough. Too much damage from Thunder.
They lost a hero right off the bat, so right away to 4v5, and they did have meta available, so not having exorcism, that's okay. Miss just being a little bit too over-eager there, trying to get aggressive and holding on to that Echo Slam. Sculptor could not find a good opportunity.
And I think we're seeing sort of the strengths of Sylar playing the Terrorblade as opposed to the Medusa. It is this hero that can just get so much more done and so in such more of a safe fashion compared to this Medusa at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and he's enabled a lot by his teammates too, like this time. It's not like he has all these very defensive heroes. He's got Batrider who can consistently make plays and catches.
Fade does have an Invis rune as he gets the information on mid. He's got his eyes on Minos. We'll try with the punch and opening. Minos will get the chance to begin morphing into strength, though. Always a hard kill, especially between the two supports. Minos will be fine. And again, these early-ish Blink Dagger pickups on the Death Prophet. We saw last game what Peter was able to do with it. We'll see how things go for Freeze, as he's going to be able to get himself on top of the back lines. Especially if you can find that silence onto Stinger's Omni Knight at the beginning of the fights. It can make everything so much more easier for VGJ Thunder in the 5v5s when they fight with their own ultimates.
Yeah. And they should, in theory, get majority of those initiation plays. Because sure, Earthshaker has Blink Dagger, but Batrider Yang is about to have his finish, and Batrider is just a much cleaner initiator than Earthshaker. Stinger has switched the item up. He did have the Midas queued up initially, but realizing he does need a Blink Dagger for the positioning in these fights, so he can avoid those silences as you're mentioning.
Lincoln Sphere now completes and out onto Minos.
Uh-oh, mid lane, the Yules.
Freeze with the setup. Miku is around. The drum charge, his shards won't quite catch him. Because of that extra boost in movement speed that Peter has as he bongos his way up the river. And now InFamous back in position to continue to apply pressure to this tier 2 top. They are almost certainly going to be a little more careful though if they do want to commit, as last time this area of the map was a bit of a danger zone.
Top tower is under attack.
It does feel like InFamous needs to farm a lot more before able to really take good fights for Thunder. They're pretty much relying on huge Echo Slimes coming up from Schofield, which is very difficult to achieve.
Sylar.
Meta.
The one-man push. Anamorphosis will do that for you. 18 minutes in at a tier 2 for the Terrorblade. No response from InFamous. They will get the trade.
Radiant's middle tower
Secondary tier 2 being threatened. Freeze. Not committing the exorcism just yet.
InFamous,
They're all smoked up.
they are heading over from top.
And look at the line drawn by Yang though. He drew exactly where InFamous was.
They knew that they just took the tier 2 top. I mean, VGJ Thunder, they're going to expect this sort of movement. And now, with the scan, it's been confirmed.
Yep.
They know exactly the plan here from InFamous.
is under attack.
Freeze.
Break the smoke really quick. They
The
have
ghost
high ground
out,
vision.
jumps forward, looks towards Miku, but Miku immediately goes for the Fiend's Grip. The damage with the Exorcism is going to be enough to finish him off. It is. The Death Prophet's still alive on the sidelines, but Peter gets focused. InFamous, they've lost 2 immediately off the back of that. VGJ Thunder fully prepared for a movement that was just a little too obvious from InFamous. And now Schofield, he's in trouble as well. Crypt Swarm will miss. So the Siphon damage, bringing him down low. He'll look to juke his way out. We'll have to blink back up. So that off the mark, Crypt Swarm will keep him alive. But as you say, Stinger, GATP, is that going to work? I think it is.
And instead, actually Schofield does get brought down. Freeze committing heavily with the blink. Guardian Angel used just on Stinger. They really need GA for the fights though. Be able to blocking out that exorcism damage as well as the meta. So 160 seconds, InFamous. Getting overrun here by Thunder.
Thunder with his 4 to 5k lead. Getting these successful pushes off. A game where Peter still struggling to be sort of in it. He's behind the Farmer Stinger and still very much far away of that of Freeze and Sylas.
It is a very terrifying game to play Gyrocopter. Like you look at just the lineup of Thunder on paper, if he runs into a fight, there's an Exorcism and a Metamorphosis going to be popped in majority of those occasions. Easily able to shred the Gyro if he's not affected by Guarding Angel.
Minos, 1600 away from having the E-Blade.
Maybe he can make some magic come out from for his team.
Oh yeah.
Get some pickoffs and start the fights 4v5.
Even sort of Sylar pre-BKB. He does have the Manta.
But Peta, they spot him with the ward too. He shows his face and his TP's on cooldown.
He's very little chance of getting himself out of this one. He'll go for some sweet little jukes. Try and make them spend as much time as he can. But he will still fall. And you can sort of feel it. At this moment, with the fun that Pepita has, he just feels like he has to go for these desperation pushes. At least free up the space for the rest of his cores to get jobs done elsewhere. It's very hard for Pepita to play it safe and then have the hope of becoming relevant this game.
Non-stop aggression, Fade with the blink. They spot the Bane for a second, Freeze TP's in. Easy cleanup kill.
Death Prophet seems to be the hero.
Yeah, Death Prophet being the hero and also Fade playing being able to play this more active here. He has 9 earn charges on the Tusk, 2, 1, and 15.
Down bottom, Sylar is pushing out, does have the back of a Yang, jump forward, they're looking to burst him down with the Echo. In fact, all the chain's done. It catches Yang as well as he jumps in. They've got the burst, they find Sylar. The Lasso is there, dragging Schofield back. Schofield will start to walk it off. The repel's down on Minos, keeping the morphing safe. Schofield will give his life for this. The rest of VGJ Thunder, they're trying to chase down. They've got the control. Stinger, Yule's up. The TP out will not be successful. He's silenced, surrounded. VGJ Thunder will take 2. InFamous able to actually kill Sylar there in that situation. An unfortunate jump in from Yang, really, meaning that they can't save Sylar's life as he blinks straight into the combo of the Shaker.
And now the Ethereal Blade's done. This is the big power spike. Giving some space for Pepita to get that farm too, desperately needing a BKB in this game. But a big kill for InFamous getting that TB.
We'll put Minos at the top of that net worth. That is so close. Minos versus Sylar, turning into quite a core matchup, as we've seen from this series. Both players with very sort of different type of play style that they like to go for.
This top ward doing so much work for Thunder. They're not seeing Schofield as well as the Morphling, making their move up. but at the same time, InFamous does see Fade as well as Freeze.
They'll be prepared for this move. The player's safe, already backing off into the tree line. TP is going to be back off cooldown in a couple of seconds. So Minos can look to get out, and he's going to need to, because the smoke's coming in. Yang, Firefly, searching for the tree line, he's looking for the vision. Minos, he has got the linkers, but it's going to get popped. They take it off, they've got the lasso, they drag him back into the silence. Vision will come out and attempt to buy some time for him, but it isn't enough. VGJ Thunder catch out the morph. And InFamous, they had the warding down, but the smoke play, it paid off.
Yeah.
VGJ Thunder were able to manipulate themselves around the vision that InFamous had, and Minos didn't get out in time.
It's almost like it feels like they kind of like almost knew that that ward was there too. They were like, okay, we only have 2 heroes here. That's what you think.
Lane, Miku, quick nightmare and a TP away. Get him out away from Sylar. VGJ Thunder. With the morphling off the map, they head towards the pit. Freeze pops the exorcism. And it's just a 4-man. Very hard for InFamous to really sort of fight this.
Fighting into Exorcism just feels so difficult for them. They need the Guardian Angel to be absolutely perfect, and Freeze having a killer game. 12-1-6, now the BKB finished up as well. Getting that lockdown is going to be extremely difficult. They are so reliant on Schofield in this game to just have perfect situations for InFamous. Thunder is not giving it to them.
Sylar with that Aegis. Very important to have on the Terrorblade in the lineup in a game where you are against this E-Blade Morphling. Just so that if you do get caught out, you have got that second chance. He is closing in on the Skadi, so we are getting close to the point where Sylar, despite that burst, it's very likely there will be a chance for him to get us under off. With the massive amount of HP that he is going to build up with these stat items.
Schofield wanted to try to make a go there on mid.
$6K lead, VGJ Thunder with a much stronger control to the opening of this match. And this time it's InFamous who are going to have to try and shift the momentum.
It does feel very difficult for InFamous. They are so reliant on Schofield, as I was mentioning. They need Stinger as well. He's in the proper position, but Papita still heavily suffering. Still no BKB just yet.
Top tower is under
And it's
attack.
still not going to solve many of his issues, too. The majority of the damage on Thunder is physical with that Exorcism and meta.
Another tier 2 for Thunder. InFamous at this stage, it's going to all be about the high ground defense. They will get the tier 2 themselves down bottom as Minos pushes on. See if he sticks around, maybe tries to force some reaction back from InFamous. Already the TP back from Yang on the bat. Will come into play. Minos and Schofield backing away
Dire's
though.
bottom tower is under attack.
See if Yang gets the vision on either of them with the sweep around. Schofield still sort of close.
Both teams scan out, and they actually both catch as well. So now Thunder does know that InFamous is kind of trapped in their base. It's only really the Morphling farming. Oh, is he gonna see the courier? He is. Is he gonna kill it? Commits. We'll get it.
And that is the that's the point booster at the Skadi.
Yep. So he will delay that for a bit. Does look like Exorcism's available, and they have meta too. With this Aegis, they're gonna threaten high ground here. Thunder. You see now InFamous positioning themselves. They want to go for this split push instantly as soon as they see that happening.
They are going to have to come back soon though if they want to keep hold of this rack, or at least give an attempt to do so. The tier 3 melting, the Metamorphosis and Exorcism pushing through hard. They'll find the tower. VGJ Thunder moving in for more. Freeze jumps forward with the silence onto the Omni Knight, focusing Stinger, forcing him back and forcing the attention away from this mid lane Rax. In fact, he has the kill. Stinger can't react, can't keep himself alive, has to buy back. Minos is pushing on the bottom. They'll lose the mid melee Rax though. Thunder, they grab half of it. Now they're looking for kills. Look towards Miku, force him back. Snowball across on the top. They'll find the Bane kill. They're backing up at bottom lane. Minos, he has found the trade. Gets a full set of racks himself. Buyback will come through from Miku. They're looking to see if they can get some catches on the retreat of VGJ Thunder. DDC.
Minos is going for top now too, as his
They've
team
got to get
chases.
back. Sylar will TP in, but the selfie blade. Minos, you can't touch him. He's out of there. They may have lost the mid melee racks, but they get the full set bottom. They get the Witch Doctor kill. They do have to buy back on 2 heroes, but VGJ Thunder, they can't let the Morphling get away with this sort of split push.
Excellent decision making coming up for them there. His team just kind of running in and forcing the moves. Even though Stinger dies and uses the buyback, it does seem worth it. When they are at this point behind like that and getting a trade,
Minos.
Mid though, the
Gonna get
silence.
jumped. They've got the silence. Have they got quite enough damage? They haven't. Manta's popped, and in fact, he'll turn. He'll pop the Tusk. Minos takes the Tusk out of the game and now finds the tier 1 tower.
Just picking up the Manta after getting those bottom Raxes. Doesn't seem like Thunder was aware of that one just yet.
Now this is a push. There's no exorcism for 45 seconds for VGJ Thunder to hold with.
Freeze.
Metamorphosis in there for 50, and there's the jump. They'll put the echo, but the BKB was out just in time. It doesn't matter. The right clicks are too much. He'll turn towards Salah. He does not have Metamorphosis. They're just going to chase him down. He'll get off the Thunder, pop the Mantis down, but the homing missile comes through. Yang jumps in. He's trying to out-jump Minos. He's the Terrorblade now. Code 4 pops the Metamorphosis. He has the punch. Goes to Yang. Yang does get the lasso onto Miku. They're trying to hold this as best they can. They're backing off. TP4 from Freeze gets the silence onto 2. VGJ Thunder desperate to make InFamous pay for these sort of plays. They have caught Stinger. They jump forward. Napalm's there. Stinger will fall.
They just forced a buyback from Freeze there. Minos getting the last hit as well on that Death Prophet, getting that big gold bounty from the godlike streak. Surges him forward toward that Eye of Scotty. InFamous have now closed the gap in the gold almost entirely from the last few moments.
Look at that curve. Right back towards being another close game. I mean, 29 minutes in, 27-14. Thunder, they did have this drive at the start. Now things are certainly starting to turn back towards where you look at the way that InFamous is playing. You sort of ask yourself, are they now the team that just has more control and has more of a game plan? The way that Minos is playing, keeping Thunder constantly on their toes.
The morphling is a definite problem. They're itemizing now just to pretty much protect that Morpheus. The Lotus Orb is now being queued up on the Omni Knight. Of course, that's also for himself to remove that silence, but...
With the BKB on Sylar now as well. So Sylar will have a better chance in these fights to make sure that he does not get bursted by Minos' combo.
VG also has now purchased a gem, so they can not only clear out that vision that InFamous has placed down, but they can also spot out the Shadow Blade that Schofield.
And that last fight as well was, of course, where Sylar did not have Metamorphosis. He's got it now, they've got Exorcism, they've got all the ult. Sylar looking to lead in, Fisher comes out, Yang goes for it, they've got the lasso onto Minos. Defensive Nightmare comes out, but it's not enough. Minos was full. VGJ Thunder getting the first big pick, they'll look towards Schofield, they want to find more. He's trying to get himself away with the Shadow Blade, but they have the detection. They'll take a second and a third, as on the sidelines, DDC finishes off Miku with the Death Ward.
Instantly see the line drawn by Schofield. He's telling his teammates to try to push out that mid lane, and Apapita getting chased out. Freeze forced to use the BKB. He does not have a TP available, though.
Freeze is just going to continue to try and chase this. How's the back up in 5 seconds?
He's still pretty speedy on that gyro.
No one else quite with Freeze at the moment.
Stinger's just trying to run down toward mid, but now he actually closes
Freeze
the gap.
is trying.
Freeze.
With the Siphon charges, he's bringing him down the post. The BKB, he really wants this, and now the rest of the team are coming in. He's been able to play around with Pepita long enough to buy time for Fade to come forward, but Fade, oh, he messes up the shards. It doesn't matter though, because Freeze has got a blink, jumps into the base, takes the kill.
And the top rack's now getting brought down. It's a DD Terrorblade.
He doesn't need no Tusk, he's a strong, independent French lady ghost person.
14 seconds till Morphling respawns. Thunder.
They've got to get back for this defense. It's Thunder looking for that third and final set. InFamous with Minos back up. Jump forward, Stinger. Towards Sylar. Sylar, he's just going to turn and start punching back here. Freeze comes forward as well. They've got the silence. Missile will come forward onto the Terrorblade. Is it going to be enough to buy time for Stinger to get out there? So close to the high ground, and the Death Wall for DDC gets the kill on the side. Minos, they're trying to fight, but Minos has to wait for the way. The Spirit Vessel holding him down in health. He can't regen. He's down and out. They've lost 3 on InFamous. They've got the lasso onto Schofield. VGJ Thunder will do it here in Game 2. They'll take down InFamous, bringing us to a deciding Game 3.
Man, Freeze was a beast this game on the Death Prophet. This Blink Dagger,
the Death Prophet,
he was constantly just jumping in, finding these backlines, chasing heroes consistently, even though they think they get away a couple times. Like Schofield top, he blinks away, he's like, oh, I think I'm gone. Nope, Freeze jumps in. Bottom there, Pepita thinks he's